Yeah, sorry about that last video. Things got cut off for some reason. I'm not sure what happened, and I ended up just kind of talking and not recording. For some reason it stopped. But in any case, we left off with Spinosaurus teeth. So let's pick up there. And here I have some actual teeth from the Spinosaurus, and we can see them here. They're long for their size. They're pointy. If we look at them kind of from the end, they're somewhat round. And this tells us something about the Spinosaurus. If we look at modern day animals, we can make inferences about extinct ones. And here I have a tooth. It's smaller, but it's a similar shape. It's long, it's pointy, it's kind of hollow, or it is hollow, and these probably were too. They just got filled in with sediment. But it's long, a pointed tooth. And this smaller white tooth is actually from a modern day alligator. So this is an alligator tooth. And these are actual fossils from Spinosaurus teeth. But what we can infer is, well, alligators eat fish. And animals that have this kind of rounded, pointy tooth tend to be animals that ate fish. And we can see that here. So the Spinosaurus was a fish-eating dinosaur. And if we go back to the picture of the Spinosaurus, very large animal. And let's go back to Spinosaurus. Here we go. Slide. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here's our Spinosaurus eating fish. Again, long, pointy teeth and round teeth indicate it ate fish. Let's take a look at some more teeth. Here we have Velociraptor, or actually we'll look at a claw in this case. Here we have Velociraptor. Most people have heard of Velociraptor from the Jurassic Park movies. And this is how Velociraptor was shown in the movie. Even at the time, people knew Velociraptor was much smaller and probably didn't even come up waist high. Much smaller animal than the movie made it seem to be. What was unknown at the time, or less known at the time, is that Velociraptor was most likely covered in feathers. So when you watch Jurassic Park, it's important to keep in mind, Velociraptor probably really didn't look like the movie, and it's really just a movie. Velociraptor was much smaller and probably covered in feathers. When they made the movie Jurassic Park, they probably really based their Velociraptor dinosaur on a different dinosaur called Deinonychus, which in the 80s was believed to look like this. And then in around 2015 or so, people started finding fossils of Deinonychus with feathers. And it turns out that many more dinosaurs than we ever imagined have feathers. Again, probably not capable of flight, but probably for ornamentation and so on. Covered in feathers, both Velociraptor and Deinonychus, we now think were feathery and not lizard-like. Very different than what most people imagine. And there's our Velociraptor covered in feathers. Giant claws, though. And if we take a look at that, big claw, here's a Velociraptor claw. Very severe hook to it. Thin, pointy. And Velociraptor probably hunted with its claws and attacked its animals almost like a large bird of prey would attack with talons. Here's a different creature. A lot of people would think that this is a aquatic dinosaur, but this is actually a picture or drawing of a mosasaur, which was actually a reptile and not a dinosaur at all, but an extinct species of aquatic reptile. And let me go back a minute. Let me show you some teeth from a mosasaur. So here I have two teeth. These are actual teeth from mosasaurs. You can see they're embedded in the sand that they were found in, the sandstone. But these were teeth from an early aquatic reptile called a mosasaur. Not dinosaurs, but mosasaurs, reptiles. If we go back to pictures for a minute, here we have horses. And if we look at horses back through history, what we find is that they were smaller a long time ago. And our earliest horses were actually very, very small. Horses really came into being at the end of the Mesozoic. As we were transitioning into the Cenozoic, dinosaurs ended in the Mesozoic, and now we're in the Cenozoic, more modern time. And these early horses were very small. Many of you probably have dogs that are bigger than these early horses used to be. And here we could see this horse number 1 doesn't even go up to the person's knee, or goes about up to the knee. And then as the horse evolves, it evolves to a larger and larger body. If we take a look at another tooth, here's a real tooth. This is a tooth from a horse, an extinct horse. And if you saw this outside, you might not even realize it's a horse tooth. Half of it or so, or probably even more than half of it, would be set in the jaw. Actually, it would be like this, set in the jaw with gum, to hold it in, just like we have gums. And if we look at the top of the tooth, it's relatively flat. It's not pointy. And we have this kind of squiggly looking surface on top. This is a grinding surface. This tooth was really meant for grinding plants. This is the first herbivore that we've looked at. And we have this flat grinding surface here for chewing up and grinding plants. Okay, so that would be a horse tooth. Now if we go back to our pictures again, we also have our saber-toothed cat. So saber-toothed cats and these other large mammals were very abundant during the Cenozoic. And of course we see these giant fangs, very good for tearing flesh. And here I have a replica of a saber-toothed cat fang. It's very large. You can see how big it is compared to my hands. Here, this darker part, this is where the root of the tooth would be, and it would be firmly embedded in the jaw of the cat. There would be gum here holding it in. And this is really the cutting and slicing part of the tooth. And I don't know if you could really see it, but I can certainly feel it. Along the edges are serrations, just like a serrated knife in the kitchen. Very good for cutting meat. It's very thin and knife-like. Okay, so that was a saber-toothed cat fang. Now something else that I wanted to show you were some dinosaur and prehistoric toys. In fact, shortly before school ended, I happened to be going to my parents' house and cleaning up some stuff in the basement. And I found what was called my prehistoric playset. And in the prehistoric playset were a variety of plastic dinosaurs. And if we look at this plastic T-Rex here, one of the things that I think is interesting about it is at the time when these toys were made, people still thought that T-Rex stood upright, dragged its tail, walked kind of slowly, and now we know that's not the case. T-Rex really had this kind of more tilted running stance instead of this very vertical upright stance. Also in the kit were many other dinosaurs. And creatures, all kind of mixed together. We have our larger herbivore sauropods, some of the biggest dinosaurs, Apatosaurus and Diplodocus and so on. You've probably heard of some of those. Here are another group of dinosaurs, the hadrosaurs. These were herbivores also. They had beaks, kind of like birds. And this kind of, many species anyway, had a horn on the back. We of course have a stegosaur. And Stegosaurus had a beak-like mouth, again, herbivore. Here we have another herbivore, an ankylosaur, armored plates, club on the tail for defending itself, some horns, but again, an herbivore. Yeah, there were some other creatures in the kit that I thought were interesting too. We have a Dimetrodon. You might have seen this creature before, very common in books and pictures and so on. Not actually a dinosaur though. Looks like a dinosaur, but actually It was a true reptile. Its legs stick out on the side, which gives it what's called a sprawling stance, which is more like a lizard or like an iguana or something like that. Large sail on the back, possibly for controlling its body temperature, possibly for mating displays. Not sure. Now, something that I also really like about this kit is that it has other creatures in it too. Here we have a woolly mammoth. Well, there's no way that a woolly mammoth and a stegosaurus and a hadrosaur were ever together at the same time. So this is just a toy. It's a set of toys, of course, but the geologic time is all wrong. The dinosaurs lived in the Mesozoic era, and many of these dinosaurs didn't live at the same time periods. But it doesn't matter. It still just makes it fun, right? So anyway, we've got our mammoths. And then something else that I think is kind of cool about the kit was it also came with early humans. We have a person with a club, an early human with a club and a spear. Humans really came onto the scene about 1.8 million years ago. There's no way that humans and dinosaurs ever coexisted. Humans could not have possibly hunted dinosaurs. Humans, and even the earliest of humans, lived millions of years after dinosaurs came into being. But, that being said, they probably did hunt the woolly mammoth and the mastodon. And there is some evidence to indicate that maybe early humans hunted mammoths and mastodons to the point of extinction. That's just a possibility. So the kit is kind of fun to look at for a number of reasons. We can see some of these old ideas, like this very upright tyrannosaur. We can see that the geologic times are not at all correct. None of these creatures lived at the same time, including the humans, of course, and the woolly mammoth. But it still just makes it a fun toy. The kit also came with other things too. It came with a plastic cave where you could put your early people and, just kind of pretend that they all lived together. Of course they didn't. It had a little plastic lake where your dinosaurs could go swimming. Here we have a form of Triceratops with many horns. Most of you know Triceratops had 3 horns. This was Styracosaur, a form of Triceratops. Triceratops was a group of dinosaurs, not just one. And the kit even came with some plants, some plastic plants to give it this kind of tropical fern-like feel to it. So kind of a fun little kit. But again, upright stance for T-Rex, not realistic today. And again, most of these dinosaurs were probably feathered, or at least many of them were. Not sure exactly which ones. And humans probably played a role in the extinction of the mammoth and the mastodon. Okay. And again, geologic times are all wrong. There is no way that these creatures could have lived together at the same time. But again, it's a toy, and that's what makes it fun. So anyway, that was just kind of an interesting look, I think, at some of the things I happen to have around. The activity for this week will have to do with geologic time, and you'll do that on Thursday. All right, so all for now.